Have you noticed how some moments in life arrive so quietly that you almost miss them? A message appears. A conversation begins. A coincidence happens that feels too precise to be random. Then months later, you look back and realize that was the exact moment everything changed. What if you are standing at one of those moments right now? What if the reason you were guided to this message today is because your future is much closer than you think? Because what is being revealed today is not just about marriage. It is about relocation. It is about a completely different chapter of your life. And most importantly, it is about the person who is connected to that chapter. The partner who changes your address. The partner who changes your environment. The partner who changes your daily routine. The partner who changes the way you see yourself. Something remarkable happens when two destinies begin moving toward each other. Before they meet physically, circumstances begin rearranging. Doors start opening. Old chapters begin closing. People unexpectedly leave. New opportunities appear. You start feeling restless where you currently are. You begin sensing that you don't belong in the place you've been. You cannot explain it. But deep inside, something keeps whispering that your future is somewhere else. That feeling is not accidental. Because many of you listening have already entered a transition period. The signs are already around you. You have outgrown places that once felt comfortable. You have outgrown conversations that once excited you. You have outgrown routines that once made sense. And now life feels different. Not because something is wrong, but because something bigger is approaching. Your future partner carries a powerful relocation energy. This is one of the strongest descriptions appearing around your connection. The person you marry is not someone who remains stuck in one place for life. They are a builder, a mover, a traveler, someone who understands growth, someone who understands expansion, someone who refuses to live a life limited by fear. And when this person enters your world, movement begins. Massive movement. Not small changes. Not tiny adjustments. Life-changing movement. For some, this means another city. For others, another state. For others, another country. And for a few listening right now, the distance between your current life and your future life is much larger than you imagine. You may believe you already know where your future is. But what if you don't? What if the place where your greatest happiness exists isn't even on your radar yet? What if the location connected to your marriage is somewhere you never expected? Think about that. Because your future partner has a surprising characteristic. They often enter rooms and immediately stand out. Not because they are loud. Not because they demand attention. But because their energy is unforgettable. People remember them. People trust them. People naturally gravitate toward them. Even strangers often feel comfortable around them. This person possesses a calm confidence. The kind that cannot be faked. The kind that comes from surviving difficult seasons. They have been through more than most people know. Many around them see only their success. Very few understand the battles they fought privately. Your future partner has experienced disappointment. They have experienced heartbreak. They have experienced moments when they questioned everything. Yet somehow they kept moving forward. That resilience became part of their personality. And it is one of the reasons you will admire them so deeply. Because when life becomes difficult, they do not run. They adapt. They learn. They overcome. And that mindset becomes one of the foundations of your relationship. Now here comes something that may surprise you. This person is not searching for perfection. They are searching for peace. Read that again in your spirit. They are not obsessed with finding the most attractive person, the richest person, the most popular person, the most impressive person. What they truly desire is peace. A connection that feels safe. A connection that feels genuine. A connection that feels like home. And when they meet you, that feeling arrives. Not instantly. Not dramatically. But unmistakably. They begin realizing something feels different. Something feels natural. Something feels easy. And that realization changes everything. One of the strongest indicators connected to this person is their eyes. There is something incredibly expressive about their eyes. People often feel like they can see emotions there even when no words are spoken. You may notice intelligence, depth, wisdom, a quiet intensity. Their eyes tell stories. Stories of victories. Stories of lessons. Stories of dreams they have not yet shared with anyone. And when they look at you, there will be moments when you feel understood without speaking. Moments that leave you wondering how someone could know exactly what you're feeling. That connection becomes one of the strongest bonds between you. But there is another revelation. A shocking one. The relocation connected to your marriage does not happen by accident. It happens because an opportunity appears. An opportunity that neither of you can ignore. This opportunity becomes a turning point. For some, it is connected to work. For others, business. For others, education. For others, property. For others, family responsibilities. But regardless of how it appears, it becomes the bridge between your old life and your new life. And when it arrives, everything starts moving quickly. Much faster than expected. What once seemed impossible suddenly becomes realistic. What once seemed distant suddenly becomes close. What once seemed uncertain suddenly becomes obvious. You begin realizing that the future has been preparing itself behind the scenes. Long before you noticed. Long before you understood. Long before you believed. Your future partner also has a habit of thinking ahead. They are planners. Even when they appear spontaneous. They think about consequences. They think about stability. They think about building a secure future. This is someone who does not make major commitments carelessly. Which means when they choose you, they choose seriously. They are not interested in temporary connections. They are interested in legacy. They are interested in building something that lasts. That quality is becoming increasingly rare. And yet it is one of the strongest traits connected to them. Now listen carefully because this next revelation is important. Many of you have been wondering why certain relationships failed. Why certain people disappeared. Why certain plans collapsed. Why certain opportunities vanished. At the time it felt painful. At the time it felt unfair. At the time it felt confusing. But if those situations had succeeded, you would not be available for the future that is approaching. You would have been tied to the wrong chapter. The wrong environment. The wrong direction. The wrong destination. Sometimes protection feels like disappointment until the bigger picture becomes visible. And that bigger picture is beginning to emerge. Your future partner carries a unique balance. They are ambitious but caring. Strong but compassionate. Practical but emotional. Independent but loyal. These qualities create a relationship dynamic that feels balanced rather than exhausting. You won't constantly wonder where you stand. You won't constantly question their intentions. You won't constantly feel confused. Because clarity becomes one of the defining features of your connection. And after everything you've experienced, clarity will feel like a miracle. There is also something very distinctive about their communication style. They say what they mean. They dislike manipulation. They dislike mind games. They dislike unnecessary drama. When something needs to be discussed, they discuss it. When something needs to be solved, they solve it. That maturity becomes one of the reasons your relationship grows stronger over time. Because problems get addressed instead of ignored. Now let's talk about the relocation itself. The place connected to your future appears brighter than your current environment. Not necessarily physically. Energetically. It feels lighter. It feels freer. It feels more aligned. When you arrive there, something inside you begins waking up. You feel inspired again. Motivated again. Hopeful again. You start imagining possibilities you stopped believing in. You begin dreaming bigger. You begin expecting more from life. You begin seeing opportunities everywhere. And the shocking part? Many of you will realize you should have made certain changes much earlier. That realization may surprise you. But it will also empower you. Because once you see what is possible, you can never fully return to limited thinking. Your future partner also has a protective nature. When they care about someone, they care deeply. Sometimes so deeply that they worry more than they should. Sometimes they carry responsibilities that aren't even theirs. Sometimes they try to fix problems for everyone around them. This comes from a good heart. A generous heart. A heart that wants people to succeed. And when that heart connects with yours, something beautiful develops. Mutual support. Mutual respect. Mutual growth. The kind of relationship many people spend years searching for. There is another detail appearing strongly. This person has experienced a major life lesson connected to trust. At some point they trusted the wrong people. At some point they believed promises that were not kept. At some point they learned that not everyone deserves access to their heart. That lesson changed them. It made them wiser. More careful. more selective. Which means when they choose you, that choice carries weight. It carries meaning. It carries intention. And that intention becomes one of the strongest foundations of your future together. The marriage energy surrounding this connection feels unusually significant. Not because it is perfect, but because it is transformative. This is not a relationship that simply adds another person to your life. It changes your entire direction. The path you walk. The people you meet. The opportunities you receive. The environment you live in. The goals you pursue. Everything begins evolving. And suddenly the life you once imagined feels smaller than the life you are actually living. That is how powerful this transition becomes. One more revelation is coming through strongly. The timing is closer than many realize. Not necessarily tomorrow. Not necessarily next week. But much closer than your fears have convinced you. Some of you have been waiting so long that waiting became part of your identity. You stopped expecting positive surprises. You stopped believing major changes could happen quickly. Yet life often changes faster than anyone predicts. One phone call. One introduction. One opportunity. One decision. One meeting. And suddenly everything shifts. Your future partner is closer than your worries suggest. Closer than your doubts suggest. Closer than your fears suggest. And every day the distance is shrinking. Because the future is moving toward you even when you cannot see it. The relocation is moving toward you. The marriage is moving toward you. The opportunity is moving toward you. And the life waiting on the other side of those events is preparing itself right now. The chapter ahead contains new surroundings. New memories. New routines. New experiences. New blessings. And standing at the center of that chapter is the person whose description has been unfolding throughout this message. The person who carries strength, wisdom, loyalty, vision, depth, compassion, and the courage to build a future rather than merely dream about one. When they arrive, many things will finally make sense. The delays, the detours, the endings, the unanswered questions, the disappointments, the waiting. You will see how separate pieces were creating one larger picture. A picture leading toward partnership. A picture leading toward relocation. A picture leading toward a completely different life. And when you finally stand in that new chapter, looking around at everything that changed, one realization may echo through your heart louder than anything else. The future was never lost. It was simply finding its way to you. The most astonishing part of this revelation has not even been shared yet. Because the relocation connected to your marriage is not only about changing where you live. It is about changing who you become. Most people think a new address changes their surroundings. But very few understand that the right environment can completely transform a person's destiny. And that is exactly what begins happening after this connection enters your life. There is a version of you that exists in the future. A stronger version. A more confident version. A more fulfilled version. A version of you that no longer questions whether you deserve happiness. A version of you that finally feels settled. And surprisingly, that version of you is directly connected to the partner being described today. Because they awaken qualities inside you that have been sleeping for years. Qualities even you may have forgotten existed. The future partner surrounding this message has an unusual gift. They see potential where others see limitations. When most people focus on problems, they focus on possibilities. When most people give up, they keep looking for solutions. This mindset becomes contagious. The longer you spend around them, the more your own thinking begins changing. You start seeing opportunities differently. Challenges differently. Your future differently. And before you realize it, your entire outlook begins expanding. That expansion becomes one of the hidden reasons relocation happens. Because the person you are becoming can no longer fit inside the life you are leaving behind. Now pay attention because this next revelation is incredibly specific. The person connected to your future often appears calm on the outside while carrying enormous dreams inside. Many people underestimate them. Many people assume they are ordinary. Many people never realize how much ambition they truly possess. But beneath that calm exterior is someone who refuses to settle. Someone who quietly works toward goals. Someone who keeps moving forward even when nobody is watching. And one day the people who underestimated them become shocked by what they accomplish. You will admire this quality deeply. Because unlike people who constantly talk about success, this person actually creates it. Step by step. Day by day. Year by year. Their actions speak louder than their promises. And that reliability becomes one of the reasons trust grows so naturally between you. There is also something unique about the way this person loves. They do not love halfway. They do not invest halfway. They do not commit halfway. When they decide someone matters, they show up. Even during difficult seasons. Even during stressful moments. Even when circumstances become complicated. That consistency creates emotional security. A security many people spend years searching for. And after everything you have experienced, that security feels priceless. Now here comes a revelation that may explain several things happening in your life right now. You have probably noticed unusual endings recently. Certain connections fading. Certain interests disappearing. Certain opportunities no longer feeling exciting. At first this seemed confusing. Maybe even disappointing. But these endings are making room. Making room for the relocation. Making room for the marriage. Making room for the life waiting ahead. Because every major transformation requires space. And sometimes life creates that space by removing what no longer belongs. Your future partner experienced a similar process. Long before meeting you, they also faced endings. They also faced closed doors. They also faced seasons of uncertainty. In fact, one reason your connection becomes so powerful is because both of you understand struggle. Neither of you arrived here without scars. Neither of you arrived here without lessons. Neither of you arrived here without moments that tested your faith. Those experiences become bridges. They create understanding, compassion, patience, and a bond that feels deeper than surface attraction. The marriage connected to this future carries an unusual sense of teamwork. You are not simply sharing a home. You are building something together, creating something together, growing something together. That shared purpose becomes one of the strongest parts of your relationship. Because both of you understand that real success is not built alone. It is built through partnership. And this partnership becomes stronger with time rather than weaker. Many relationships begin with excitement and slowly lose momentum. This one develops differently. The deeper the connection grows, the stronger it becomes. The more you learn about each other, the more respect develops. The more challenges you overcome, the more united you become. That is why this connection feels so significant. It is not built only on emotions. It is built on character. And character lasts. There is another surprising detail appearing strongly. The future location connected to your marriage feels unfamiliar at first. Not uncomfortable. Just unfamiliar. There will be moments when you look around and realize how much has changed. New roads. New faces. New routines. New experiences. At first it may feel overwhelming. But very quickly it begins feeling natural. As though you were always meant to be there. As though the place was waiting for your arrival. And one day you will catch yourself smiling at a random moment because you suddenly realize something. You are home. Not because of the building. Not because of the city. Not because of the scenery. But because of the person standing beside you. That realization becomes one of the most beautiful moments in your entire journey. Now listen carefully because this revelation is especially powerful. Someone listening right now has been secretly worried that they are running out of time. You have watched others move forward. Others get married. Others start families. Others build lives. And sometimes you wondered if your turn would ever come. But what is appearing here is not delay. It is preparation. There is a difference. Delay feels pointless. Preparation serves a purpose. And every lesson, every challenge, every disappointment, every waiting season has been preparing you for a connection capable of lasting. Because lasting relationships require wisdom. And wisdom takes time to develop. The partner surrounding this message appreciates authenticity. More than appearance. More than status. More than material things. Authenticity. Being real. Being honest. Being genuine. That quality draws them toward you. Because in a world full of performances, authenticity feels rare. And rare things attract attention. There is also a strong indication that this person values family. Not necessarily in a traditional way. But deeply. They understand loyalty. Responsibility. Commitment. They understand the importance of showing up for people they love. That quality influences many of the decisions they make. Including decisions connected to relocation. Including decisions connected to marriage. including decisions connected to building a future. Now the energy becomes even stronger, because a major surprise appears connected to the timing. Something happens unexpectedly. Something that accelerates the process. Something that makes events move faster than anticipated. For some it is an opportunity. For others it is a conversation. For others it is a breakthrough. For others it is a decision that suddenly becomes obvious. Whatever form it takes, momentum increases. And once momentum increases, things begin unfolding rapidly. The months that once felt slow suddenly feel fast. The future that once felt distant suddenly feels close. And the relationship that once seemed impossible suddenly becomes reality. That acceleration catches many people by surprise. Because life often changes gradually until it changes all at once. And that pattern appears strongly around your future. One final description of your partner is emerging. This person has a beautiful balance between strength and kindness. They know how to lead when leadership is needed. They know how to listen when listening is needed. They know how to support without controlling. They know how to care without smothering. That emotional intelligence becomes one of their greatest strengths. And one of the reasons your relationship feels different from anything that came before. You feel understood, respected, valued, seen. Not for who people expected you to be, but for who you truly are. And that feeling changes everything. As this message comes to a close, the strongest revelation remains clear. You are not moving toward an ending. You are moving toward a beginning. A marriage that changes your direction. A relocation that changes your environment. A partnership that changes your perspective. And a future that changes your life. The person connected to that future is already walking their path. You are already walking yours. And with every passing day, the distance between those paths becomes smaller. Until one extraordinary moment arrives. The moment two separate journeys become one. The moment two separate futures merge together. The moment everything starts making sense. And when that moment finally arrives, you may look back at this season of uncertainty and realize something incredible. The future you were hoping for was never avoiding you. It was preparing an entrance so remarkable that once it arrived, your old life would feel like a distant memory.